Welcome. Hello, everybody, and welcome. Tukas, where are you finding these old school intros? I'm making them, of course. I make them out of found clips that I can hopefully not get in trouble for. They're found on, I don't know. Where did I find them? I find them on YouTube. General. Hang on, let me just turn the sound down. Whoa. All right, welcome everybody. Okay, I've started a new comic. I'm working on it. I showed you a bit of it on the thumbnail for this video, and that's what I've got so far. But that's not quite ready. I've still got to do some more shading, and this is I'm going to show you a little bit about screen tones. So you guys know what screen tones are. You know, these little halftone dot things that are on there, and you can do them a variety of different ways in Procreate. And I'll show you one easy but dumb way to do it is to just go to texture, and there is a decimal texture which you can reduce to being pretty small, and it does kind of an ugly version of that. But the one I have is the True Grit one. I think it's True Grit. And it's called Beat Tones. Beat Tones Shaders is the one I want, which is the 45-degree light. And it might not be the light one. That's as dark as you can go with the light one. Okay. So these are pressure sensitive. This is why the Beat Tones ones are actually pretty good. First of all, they're pressure sensitive. There's light, and then you can go all the way down to dark. And then also, they keep your dots in alignment, which means that hopefully you minimize the chance of getting a moire effect. Did you get your True Grit texture brush pack with the comic screen tones? Yes, it's the Beat Tones one. Beat Tones. And anyways, let me demo it a little bit. I did a little bit of shading on these characters right here. This is sort of that old school shading. But for right now, I want to basically we want to provide a nice dark contrast, but because it's pressure sensitive, we can, I don't know if you can see that we can vary it a little bit and provide like we go hard over here and it goes to complete black, and then we just sort of let the pressure off a little bit, and you'll get some variation there. I'm looking at my, I'm frozen. Come on now, come back. All right, there it goes. And this is supposed to be shadow back here as well, I think. I'm not 100% sure on that. I'll have to look at it. I'll have to zoom back out. Yeah, okay. Yeah, he's getting up from this chaise lounge type thing. And then I'm going to put some pressures over here, but just a second. Paul Pay says, I just listened to Drive In Saturday by Bowie. Oh, what a wild tune. I also had the lyrics playing. No idea what it's about. I think I might be, buddy. I'm not really 100% sure either. I I love the poetry of the lyrics. I think it's about. Remember, Bowie was doing a lot of the sort of these sort of science fiction-y type things. No problem, Sirens. Anytime. I'm gonna send you. Let me get the link to you. Hang on. I copied it, but I forgot to go on Gilded and everything. So what I want to do now is I've got these columns here in the background, and I want to make it look more like a like a Greek temple. So I got to figure out. Whoops. Hang on, hang on. So let me find some reference real quick. Driving Saturday cover. Okay. Greek temple reference. And I'll bring it up. And I don't know if there's anything in particular. Maybe I'm just looking at patterns. Here's some patterns, okay? This is an 1883 reconstruction of the color scheme of a Doric temple. So let me go to this image right here. Hang on. Tuco says, you'd got some adult entertainment candy, if you know what I mean. Probably. Yeah, I learned a lot on Domestica. I took a bunch of I took a class with the Sideburns on there. We took the same class. Okay, hang on. Let me present my screens. Share the screen. Share screen. I think it's this thing right here. Okay. So what I'm kind of interested in is this pattern here. I think this is a Greek key pattern. Although this one, that looks a little complex for me right here. But I think we could do a simplified version of it, maybe more like this one. I don't know, maybe more like this one. I like this one right here. So, hang about. And I definitely want to learn about textures more. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I want to do more with them as well. If you're all on iPad, can't we collab scripts with Procreate now? Not that I know of. I don't know how to do that. Maybe you can. I don't know. All right, that's a good way to do it. I can do this. That way I can still see my texture there. And I was just thinking, like maybe down here on the baseboards, or maybe up here at the top, something like that. Something kind of tiled in there. So let me get back to this is the ink layer, and where am I? Recent, something like this one right here. What about those faces? I kind of like those drama faces. Or the masks, or what those are. So if we were to look at them, if I do one, I can just cut and paste it, I think, on the other ones, and I don't think I'd feel too bad about it since it's just a background detail. But let me zoom in on it a little bit. Can we zoom in? I don't know if I like it zoomed in. It's supposed to be a bearded figure. What if we use like a... I know that they have these sort of drama masks that look something like this. Okay, well, that's an approximation. Let's grab that. We're gonna grab that one. Copy. Copy pasta. Maybe put it right there. And then keep having to drop my Apple Pencil back off. Then maybe the details are kind of hidden up here in the shadows. We don't have to worry too much about it. I'm looking at it though, and I think my problem is I need to fold them together. Okay, there we go. All right, sorry about that. I'm always looking at stuff. Lettering Class Stars by Jay Roeder. I might check that out. Lettering is there a technical name? I think they're just called drama masks or chorus masks, something like that. The Unabomber. Is this a graphic novel? Mad Cat, no, I do 16 page. Well, I'll call them 16 pages. Some of them are more like 8 to 12, but usually 16, 15, 16 pages. The last one I did was 15 pages comics, and I've done them since basically since lockdown times. I've been on kind of one continuous roll since then. And the idea is I have a spreadsheet of 1,000 pages that I want to do. When I finish my 1,000 pages, I will consider myself to have completed my apprenticeship. We don't really have art assistants. I mean, we have art assistants. We don't really have apprenticeships anymore, though, in comics. I wouldn't know how I would get one anyways, regardless. And, there's that Todd McFarlane quote about you got to get through your first 1,000 crappy pages, which I really believe that's true. That's just my belief. If you don't believe it, that's okay. So here's the idea. Let me bring up I'll show you what's going on. So what is this? This is actually the 4th Rabbit Fighter. Well, okay, there's actually 10 Rabbit Fighter mini comics. And there's 2 or 3. There's Escape from Westworld. There's Wasteworld. This is the 12th or the 13th Rabbit Fighter story, I think. I've slightly lost track. There was a bunch of mini comics that I did with this character, and several with this character. She's in totally different. This is the first time they're together. Okay, let me show you what the whole plan is. Once you see the whole plan, okay, I got to share my screen though again. Stop screen. I'm in the 850s or so. Or I might be close to 850. Where is, okay, window, entire screen. Let me show you. Okay, it's this one right here. Okay, this is my spreadsheet, and hang on if I can make it bigger. All right, so this 2019 it was just 24 pages, and then I started counting them up in 2020, and actually got to 290. And in 2021 it went down a lot. Like that, this was the year of the lockdown, so it was a lot, and they're not very good. I mean, these pages were really done really quickly. That was 2020. 2021 it went down to 195. And then 2022 it went down to 171. So it's steadily going down. And these are like completed pages, but it includes stuff like my Kubert School homework and stuff like that. Yeah, I when I started out, I was definitely doing the 3-panel page was pretty standard for me. Pretty standard. A lot of mini comics too, and my mini comics. I mean, I wouldn't count a mini comics page as a page because like an one of those 8 pagers. I would count it as a mini comic though. And then I get to 2023. This is last year. I got 132. It has Brillig, Tarzan, the Wraith pinup I did, the Eat Splash. You know, even failed comics go in here. It doesn't really matter too much. And then any kind of paid work I did, the Delver character sheets, the Rune character sheets, those are in there. Hubert homework. And this is 2024. So the grand total is 843. So if you look at my little formula up at the top, it just takes all of the the totals and throws them in there. So it's 843, but it's actually a bit more because this comic, although I don't know if I can take credit for it yet, it's got let me show you. By the way, what I count as a page is the pencils part, not necessarily the finished inks. So it's just the pencils there. So on this one, let me switch for a second. Like I consider that a page that I could count on my spreadsheet, although it's not done. I also have the next page. So you take all that together, and let me get back to sharing my screen. Whoops. Put all that together, and so there's Rabbit Fighter, and I could say two pages there. So I'm up to 30 for the year, which actually puts me a bit behind, I think, for March. It's only an average about 10 pages a year. 10 pages a month, which would put me at, this says 845. Does this add in, what this cell is, M, what is this, M33. So the M33 is in there. So at 845 is that's my pages right there. It says you're not counting the inking and lettering, then you're way over. No. It's I'm not counting pictures. If it's just a picture, that's not a page. But if it's like, there's a lot of stuff that I do that's pretty involved, like that right here. This is let me turn this back off again. Takes me a second. Like, this doesn't count as a page. This is really just a picture. It's not even a whole size. But I do count like anything that I've got that's like 11 by 16. Like I counted this as a whole page right here. This one. And some of my RPG work. Where's the one I just recently did? This I counted as a whole page, which is the one where they're in the tent. So are you doing another online Keyword class? Absolutely. Okay, so those have just started up again. And before I go back into drawing, let me just share that because it's kind of interesting. Oops, 1 second. I need that other page up. All right. Share my screen. Online studies. So this is the Keyword School Online, and this one's cranking up on April 8th. And I will be in this class right here, drawing sequential pages. Dan DiDio is teaching editing, which is kind of interesting to me, but I think this is really like editing for the corporate comics like Marvel and DC, which I'm not sure that is, editing like we would understand it. However, this is also interesting. Maria Sanapo is teaching Anatomy of a Superhero. She's incredible. And JP Buzzio is teaching traditional inking. Every one of these classes, you'll notice, is on Wednesday. So I would consider taking 2 classes, but if they're co-located, you can't do it. I could get into Maria's class because it's on Tuesday, but I don't know if I want to. TJ Sterling's teaching a cover class. I suck at covers. I would maybe should consider that one. But no, instead I'm taking this one, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles guy. Anyway, you need a writing course to help you keep your shit organized. Well, thank you, Tuco. I do all my own writing. Gosh darn it. That's all right. Um, I consider that to be. I probably should. First of all, you're right. I should take a class. However, I do consider that one advantage that I have over a lot of creators is since I write my own stuff, I never have to worry about having to work with anybody else. If you don't write your own stuff, you're kind of dependent on um, what other people do, and you end up in a mindset I don't necessarily. Maybe this is your mindset. I just maybe not you, but it maybe just a general user might have this mindset that the important thing about comics is the art, and I don't think that's true. I think the important thing about comics is the story as told through the art, right? It's hi Daniel, hello. Are those live classes? Yes, they are. It's done via Google Classroom, so the teacher is on video and you're on video. Um, so, anyways, let me get this pattern down. I gotta find it again. Here it is. Okay, so one of the patterns. This is a Greek pattern. It's just a line, and then the other pattern is kind of like this ET pattern. And that looks. See that? There's not even that much to it. Just this little thing, but already it feels a little bit more Greek to me. You may disagree. All right. I had another idea for a thing I wanted to try. Let me take my pencils out for a second. This is the pencil there. And I'm looking at this and I'm thinking there might be some shade or some shadow we could do. And the shadow I was thinking of, we'll put a layer right there. But basically, let's see if I can do it. This has to be its own layer. I was just thinking of something to darken the top triangle. It wouldn't be this. It would be something like that though. And then the characters would be in front of it. And you might be able to like, show some light in front of it somehow. Something like that. But I don't think I'm going to do that. I think we may just erase that. It does add a lot of depth to it. I think we might just leave it like it is. With the masks and all that. All right, so let's do this one. Move on to the next one. Back to the ink layer. At some point, though, you will hit a wall. Come on now. I won't hit a wall. I'm good. I'll be all right. I think that it's possible, but I had a really good experience. My very first class I took, I had Tom Mandrake, and Tom Mandrake he's sort of semi-retired from comics. He's teaching. He still makes comics, but he was at one point he was doing Swamp Thing. And I think I saw he was working on something else lately, but there he goes through periods where he's not doing stuff. But he said to me while we were in class, he goes, I haven't stopped in 30 years, so there's no reason you have to stop. And I sort of took that to heart. I took that, okay, there's no reason you have to stop. That's good to know. This is him pulling this mask off. He had this mask on. I don't know if the mask is good. I'm thinking about taking the big shadow, this core shadow off the mask. But if you know how to create stuff, there's no reason you really have to stop. Um, I went through a period of for like years where I was like, "Oh, I wish I could do comics. I just don't know how to get started." And it turned out it was just technical details. It wasn't that difficult. The difficult part is staying motivated, um, dealing with, you know, sucking like your own deficiency. And everybody's got these deficiencies. Got to run. No problem, Paul. No problem. No problem. No problem. Absolutely. Keeping track of your shit, one. That's totally. I'm not offended at all. You're all right. No problem. But like, you're gonna make stuff that doesn't look good when you start out. I mean, I definitely did, and I think that a lot of people they're embarrassed. They're embarrassed to themselves, right? And they don't have to be. I think it's okay to suck a little bit. In fact, everybody has kind of a right to suck a little bit. Um, or even after you've been doing it for a year to still put out kind of a lame comic. I mean, the real standard, or the way I see it, anyways. And I know that I don't have all the answers or anything like that. But is are you telling the story, right? Is it you got to give yourself time to suck, yeah, or you won't learn. Got to make mistakes. I think a lot of people get trapped into this situation where they compare themselves to others, or depending on what's going on in comics right now. For example, one of the big things right now is these big crowd-funded comics, and there's some shenanigans going on behind the scenes. The most obvious one is a lot of those guys are pros. They are pros from the comics industry. Many of them with decades of experience. So don't compare your indie comic to their indie comic if they've got decades of experience. And the other one, of course, is a lot of it's like they're ringers. They're hiring somebody else to do different pieces of it, and that's kind of standard. They've even said as much. They'll say, here's how we put out, this comic. It cost us, $1,000 to assemble the team, and got one guy doing inks, and you got another guy doing whatever. I found this other guy on Fiverr, etc. And that's a legitimate way to do it, I guess. But it's in a this is my beef with that, is that it's you're just recreating the pro comics, like the corporate comics model. And the model exists because of deadlines. The model exists because it's like you've got to get you got to get the comic out on a monthly basis. So they split the work up. They have one guy doing inks, one guy doing the writing, one guy doing the drawing, one guy doing colors, one guy doing lettering. You end up with these giant teams. And if you take it to like the ridiculous, the the absurd extreme. Oh, that's not, I don't want to do the lettering yet. If you take it to the absurd extreme, I've got to put something behind this guy. I don't know what. I can put. Hang on. I can put the that Doric column. behind him. You literally have guys that are, which okay, good, that are appearing on live streams that have crowdfunded comics that are they're not the artist and they're not the writer, but they're the ones appearing on the live stream to promote it, and they'll say, "Well, I made up the character." So it's like, if you're not the artist and you're not the writer, I don't understand what part of the process you are, and you should at least be the writer. I think the writer is truly the one creating the story, which is why I think artists should become writers. And if you're a writer, I think you should learn to draw, even if your drawing is not great, if it's not perfect, that's okay. Um, Now, I don't think that you're terrible if you don't agree with me or anything like that. I'm not um, saying that. But we're in the situation now where there's a lot of criticism and you have to edit. They want things to look a certain way. Like there's a standardized look to all these comics. Um, a lot of people think that the ideal is to look painted, like these painted comics like Alex Ross does. And I hate the look of painted comics. So everybody goes, "Oh, you just wish you were Alex Ross." I'm like, no, I don't. I wish nobody was Alex Ross except for Alex Ross, and he was a niche. I don't think he's a bad person or anything like that. I just don't like the look. But everybody does that now. Everybody wants this painted, painterly look. All the role playing game art looks like that now too. The modern stuff. I like the old stuff. All right. Well, anyways, hang on. I'm putting pockmarks in to signify a different texture of concrete. I could even do like maybe I could even do like a shadow behind him, drop shadow, something like that. That would be kind of dramatic. Now, not everyone agrees with me, and that's okay. All right, that looks actually pretty good. Okay, this is what it looks like without the pencil layer. So let's see. First of all, guarantee all the professional comics will tell you their first few suck till they hit that eureka moment in their journey. I think that's totally true. Not are because of the what BS going on in the comic industry right now. I don't understand the modern comic industry. I can't think of a. I don't understand what. Does anyone want these comics? You know, that's the thing. The story seems so inconsequential, and I see every once in a while there'll be like a YouTube short, and it'll say, "Remember that time? You know, Spider-Man did a thing," and it's, of course it's from an era that's after me. Um, that I ever, but it's usually some terrible degenerate thing like, you know, first Spider-Man murdered Doctor Strange, then he took his head and, you know, placed it in a machine. It's always like, what is going on in comics? Because I just don't understand. Um, anyways, so but will anyone remember these comics? Is the other thing. So okay, next one, he says, I only support their on any Kickstarter campaigns. And that Indiegogo, Indiegogo and Kickstarter are basically the same at this point. Disney has destroyed Marvel and Star Wars. Yeah, totally. There's a indie comic creator named Seth. Yeah, DC's also. It's done. They're all cooked. There's this guy named Seth. He's on Fantagraphics. You might know him as the Clyde fan Seth, and you know, I like what he says about it. He says, you know, these were good comics until, you know, they became sort of these corporate media conglomerate, you know, things. There was a time when, you know, 1960s Marvel, even 1970s, 1980s Marvel was a joy to read. You would look forward to it. It was exciting. It was fun. I just don't think that's the truth anymore. And I've gone through a period where I was kinda mad about it, but now I realize it's just there's no saving it. It's done. It'll never be that year again, you know what I mean? It's like that year is over, and it ended years ago. I have a large comic collection of Bronze Age and so on. No, it's not. I don't know. This is not really a culture war stream. I'm just complaining about modern comics. I'm not really complaining about them because I don't even know what's going on with them anymore. I don't think anybody buys them. It's not just me. And if it comes down to like, well, who's to blame for this? I kind of blame things like the distributor, like Diamond Distribution. The era when comics were sort of something you could buy at the drugstore or the 7-Eleven. I got all my comics at 7-Eleven until I was in college. And then comic shops were like a novelty where it's like, oh, there's a comic shop you can go to and get comics. That was Starbucks and Comics in Lubbock. What's going on there? I don't know. Looking at his mouth here. There we go. That's correct. Used to be able to get comics at the grocery stores way back. Yeah, it would be like right up at the front on the magazine rack. I got all my comics at like 7-Eleven or Stop and Go or Circle K or literally at the drugstore. In fact, I read the Nightfall saga, the one where Batman gets his back broken and Azrael takes over for a while. Um, I was working at a not a drugstore, a grocery store at night as a stocker. Where you stock the cans and stuff. Oh, absolutely. Mad Magazine. Yes, I read. The librarian at my elementary school library used to give us Mad Magazine. Everybody, you boys are gonna love Mad Magazine, and we did. We were in the fifth grade in the '70s. I remember that one where it's like the Star Wars issue, and we loved that one because we were bananas for Star Wars at the time too. Anyways, I was working as the stocker, the putting stock on the shelves at HEB Pantry in Texas, in Humble, Texas. And um, this was a night job, so there was nobody there at night. And I remember I would take a break and I would read the comics right off the rack. I would just like read them on the rack and then just kind of put them back. And so I read that comic. I read the Infinity War saga back then, same era. I read the entire novel of Jurassic Park because it was also on the rack at HEB Pantry. What else did I read? I read a bunch of stuff. Those were good times. But as the distributors started to fail, the company that was left behind, which was Diamond, became more and more predatory, or at least it was more and more. I don't know if it was predatory. The rules for distribution are that, like with the grocery stores and the convenience stores, if a comic didn't sell, they could send it back for free, and get credit for the next run of comics. Do you remember the Blade Runner adaptation? I kinda do, I kinda do. That was even earlier, that was much earlier, but yes, I do remember the Blade Runner comic and the Dune comic, by the way, as well. Um, I was, this is kind of a dumb argument that I was in one time. That wasn't really an argument. There was a guy complaining, it's like, I wish there was a comic for Dune, is what he was saying, and so I just pulled out my copy and I photographed it. Here it is. He's like, "That one sucks." Didn't like that one. Yeah, DC sales are tanking, WB owns them. They don't like their own characters or history. You know, the last guy that really loved all those characters was Dan DiDio, and they fired him, or maybe he quit. I don't know, but he's working with Humor School now. And then Jeff Johns. Those are guys that really cared, and I think Jeff Johns even was one of those sort of deconstructionists. Like after Watchmen, DC kind of got really into the idea that they had to deconstruct everything because that was a huge hit for them. They had to take everything that they had done and make it more adult, you know, because that's how Vertigo was. Like the Sandman comic was huge at the time. If you remember that one. And the problem with that is that if you deconstruct everything, you're not left with anything. You built nothing. There's nothing that's fun anymore. Or no, I look at this archway. I drew this archway, but the archways have thin. I gotta do this like more like this archway. So, like, perfect example is Doom Patrol. Has anybody ever read Doom Patrol or the original Doom Patrol? Actually, any era of Doom Patrol, except for the probably the most famous era, which is the Grant Morrison era. Yeah, children's stuff doesn't exist without any adult innuendos, right? So I used to love Doom Patrol, and the thing about Doom Patrol, what made Doom Patrol great, is it's off the rails crazy, right? It's super crazy. They've got a character called Animal Vegetable Mineral Man. They've got um, they've got a guy that like a superhero called the Negative Man. His power is to fall unconscious while this weird spirit comes out. Um, they've got Robot Man, who is a character from the Golden Age. Their chief in a wheelchair. I think I've heard it said that basically X-Men was an attempt to sort of recreate the Doom Patrol, but they did so in a way that was much more superior, far superior as far as the dynamic, the family dynamic of it. Like those early ones that are under the name of My Greatest Adventure. Oh, I'm sorry, Sideburns. Hang on for a second. I didn't see you on there. There you go, Sideburns. I added you on there.
Thank you.
Yeah, what's going on?
Oh, I'm just I'm doing some. I'm trying to add this Adobe Fresco app because there's some animation properties in it, like there's some functionality. And
Marsh was asking if I had messed around with Procreate Dreams, and I haven't. But I said that you had done some animations.
other than like one or two, yeah.
But if you're switching to Fresco, I'll let him know that. I mean, maybe he wants to do that.
I think I watched one video on it, and it had like this similar layout to the Procreate, like animation on the original Procreate had like the single time bar, but it didn't have like you couldn't build layers on top of that. And I think the addition of this would probably help in that regard. And I'm gonna test that out today. Also, this was a I originally painted this. This is a fan art of Bubblegum Crisis, basically. I'm gonna do some flatting because I think we recommended it. I think one of the people to go in chat was it. Like try to like. By the way, is my mic coming in good?
Yeah,
That's good. So
your audio is fine.
yeah, someone in the chat mentioned I should try flatting this and the pencils on Procreate or just on iPad, and so yeah, I give this a go. And then I watched a video the other day talking about how Adobe Fresco's animation is kind of better than Procreate.
That's definitely Chris Piasek. I'm guessing that you watched.
Crispy Austic. He had like a thumbnail that was like, if you've seen a sad-looking SpongeBob, and he made Procreate that one, and I was like, that's funny. I clicked on that and just watched the video. But and yeah, he went over his because he makes like these animated logos of it, I think. And he was given advice by like he talked about this Carl Webster who makes like different brushes for that Adobe suite. I think you've heard of him, right? Like the Carl Webster, and he showed him how Adobe Fresco's animation like program worked, and I was a little curious, so I'm giving it a go today.
And that one's free too, isn't it, or is it?
I'm not sure yet. We'll see. If it'll let me export, we'll know. So,
but it's free. I'm saying, is it technically free, or was I wrong?
I think if you have an Adobe account, you can access it. Yeah, that's what I found.
I have an Adobe account.
What is this thing in the middle? Just keeps going up and down. What is this?
What thing?
It looks like a little bar. It was like right in the middle of my canvas. It's just. Oh, have you not seen it?
No.
Sorry, this.
That's okay. There you go.
There you go. So there was a little dot thing. It just increased. It was like increasing the opacity. Maybe
that's what it is. I don't know.
It's a weird little dot. We're gonna find out.
Tuco says it definitely was Chris with the SpongeBob on the SpongeBob thing there, and he says Fresco's $10 a year. That's payable. I could handle that. I can afford that.
I have like a website that is my like. I have a website and it like hosts. It's hosted like $21 a year, US, but not bad. It's called HoboHost.
Is an Australian dollar more or less expensive than a US dollar, or do you know?
More expensive. Well, conversion rate probably 6. I think it's one US is $1.60 here in Australia.
Pretty cool.
It might be higher than that.
I was just wondering, even if you didn't know, that would have been. I wouldn't blame you. I mean, obviously, I don't know, so.
I'll do a quick Google.
Let's see. I'm trying to draw these little drama masks.
I know.
Now, when I look at this, I could probably put another one of those patterns in.
Should I know about this one?
But all right. Well, anyways, so just talking about the Doom Patrol. The Doom Patrol was a silly comic, but I loved it. I loved how crazy that comic was.
Oh my god! I actually read the first issue a while back.
Which one? So
Grant
which
Morrison
era?
one.
I guess the Grant Morrison one.
It seems like the earliest publication, probably when they were all in like that rehab center, I believe.
So that's actually a relatively. I mean, it's old. It's probably. That's probably 1990s. But But that might be one of the more recent incarnations, because the old ones. Let me show you the old ones. I'll see if I can bring them up, anyways. In my opinion, what made Doom Patrol so weird was just the unique weirdness of, you know, how it came about. They're kind of the un-team of, or the anti-team, the un-team, the anti-team.
I know I want to watch the show eventually.
So the new one, it's kind of funny because they do shout outs to every era of the Doom Patrol. It starts out, it's very much the Grant Morrison Doom Patrol.
What just happened?
I don't know.
I think I just... What the hell? That was weird. It just like went out of... I must have pressed something. Oh, that's very smooth. Very cool. All right.
Let's see if I have... I do have it. Okay, hang on. Show you what it used to look like, though. Hang on.
Make it purple.
Oh, okay.
So...
The World's Strangest Heroes.
The World's Strangest... I think there was a issue where they went into, like, a painting or something. Like, there was this weird painting dimension. Wait a second.
Yep, but it's... Hang on. Let me present the other one. It's not that one.
Establish the
See if I can find it.
values.
There it is.
Good old-fashioned values. What's up?
So this is the Silver Age Doom Patrol up here. And that's Animal, Vegetable, Mineral Man right there. It was great. It was just gonzo and crazy. It was just like a crazy comic in the 60s.
Animal, Vegetable, Mineral Man.
Yeah, and he literally was Animal, Vegetable, and Mineral.
Animal, Vegetable. Almost sounds like angry for you.
It sounds like it's a joke, right? It sounds like a postmodern joke, and that's what they turned it into. But I think that it was charming the way it was originally. It was funny. It was weird. And I think that they missed out by not having something be sort of self-referentially weird.
It's not... God, I want the camera to, like... Not, like be flipped, basically. If I could do that in StreamYard...
You might be able to do. I don't know how.
I don't know.
But
I could only really mirror it, it seems.
I think it's because you're in Australia, and so you're upside down.
Exactly, right? Yeah.
Right, so...
yeah.
So they have to, like, in the translation... Oh, well, that didn't work.
I have, like, a knife. A spoon for a knife.
Right, exactly.
Audio. Doom Patrol.
I don't know if this is going to work out either. Let's see. I'm making Isolt's face too fat.
Isolt.
There she is.
Did you catch some Isolt online?
What's that?
Isolt. I'm just figuring out, like, the pronunciation.
Well, so in medieval times, there is a famous fable of Tristan and Isolde, spelled I-S-O-L-D. I-S-O-L-D-E, like that. And it's almost like Romeo and Juliet.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Isolt, yeah, just like you said it. That's how it's pronounced. So the Irish pronunciation and the character it's probably based on is this, Isolt, like that.
Oh,
so
no.
mine's the Irish spelling. But the original plan I was going to try and do like this Romeo and Juliet type story with her, and I ended up writing the other character out of the story really early on and just focusing on her, and she becomes this werewolf. She has werewolf powers. But she's originally from this sort of fantasy D&D type world. And there were 4 Isolde stories, and then there was one holiday special where she's in that one. And I don't know if I did any others. So this would be the 5th appearance of Isolde, and then I couldn't tell you as far as Rabbit Fighter. I
think I need to give her a skin tone. Be a little lighter than that. Yeah. Something mid. No!
Mid.
I'm trying to add like add the flats in. Not bad so far. I've kind of triggered the watercolor layers, because this is like, if I pick this tool, it'll make another layer. And I guess that's the watercolor layer. It's really weird.
Yeah, so with watercolors, that's what they're playing with. There's a certain amount of bleed, right?
Oh yeah, I can see it.
And there's opacity, and there's probably a setting for wet paper versus dry paper.
Look at that.
So so Procreate is not able to do that, and so when you do watercolors on Procreate, you actually have a wetting brush, and the wetting brush, like this one, this is called Watercolor Bloom right here.
Yeah.
Basically creates a bleed area that's transparent, and then you kind of, as you drop color into it, it'll try and do the spread out into the other area. Tuka says those are the live brushes. Yeah, I am not good at them. I'll just go ahead and say.
Fair enough. Well, watercolor is tricky on its own, but it gets trickier with gouache in a sense, because you have to wait. Do it in stages, kind of waiting to dry, then applying color.
Right. You can't go exactly what you just said.
Yeah.
Like whether something's wet or dry makes a huge difference. All right, we're throwing down some.
I don't know if I like that color actually.
Sure.
There we go. All right. Chris has kind of.
All right. I'm doing. Her hair looks like a helmet here. This sucks. Hang on.
I was doing like my workplace thing where they ask you to fill in a bunch of questions on like their own employee module thing. Like employee well, you basically log into a complete questionnaires, and they're required because you're contract, but you do them like maybe once a year, maybe twice. And I did the one on sexual harassment and respectful behaviors. Apparently, technically, I've been sexually harassed. Like,
probably.
Wow. Like, I've been asked about like my single status, all that, like my relationships, like even like numerous repeated times before. I would kind of just wag it off though. It wasn't me too bad about it. Not big.
Daniel says, "Oh, hang on, real quick.
Yeah, it's me.
Got awesome. Got a recommendation by a Mad Cat. Awesome. Thanks so much, Dan. Thanks for stopping by. And Tuka says, yeah, with Fresco you can dry the layer once you have the look you're going for. So it does have like a wet layer, dry layer kind of deal.
We'll have to see. Oh, this. Maybe this is the dry layer I'm working on.
If it doesn't spread, that's probably a dry layer.
Yeah.
And then you can dry the layer and it'll stop spreading. Like at that point, it acts different. I've had another program. I think CorelDRAW works like that, where you can choose to the layer to go on wet or to be dry. I feel like I might actually finish this page today, even though I'm.
This is my previous attempt. I think this is going well, though. This if only I wish it would flip. That's the only thing. I think the red here really stands out. Trying to create that contrast. Very messy in some places, obviously. I'm trying to go. Like, I haven't used gouache in a while, and these are sort of more. And these are expensive type I'm using, kind of like a matte flow. They're called acrylic matte flow. They're called, and
So it's acrylic gouache is what you have.
I think so, yeah. Compared to other brands, and I'm working out complementary. I'm sort of trying to build up from complementary colors so that, and like studying underpainting technique, because she's very yellow right in her suit. But once I get all the like the right colors down, I'm gonna add little effects to it, correct some highlights, and still kind of working in the shadows here. But once they're done, that'll be. I think this trash can's not too bad. It's all about making them solid enough, and then going from there. Once it's fully dry, I guess once the colors are all in place correctly, I can add little effects with the gouache and maybe use like a sponge technique to create fog. I think that would be pretty cool.
Absolutely. It takes, I think, all of the like the live painting techniques where you're working with something that's wet on the page. It takes a while to figure it out. Just speaking as a guy who tried to learn gouache and spent many years trying to do watercolor and never quite getting it, it takes a while to get the best out of it.
1 second.
Tuco's asking, how do you mix water with acrylic gouache? Water mixes with acrylic. That's mostly how you do it. I use I'm looking to see if they're within arm's reach. They're not. So I have the non-acrylic gouaches myself, but I have acrylic craft paints that are water soluble as well. Okay, does she look the same as her? What's different? Is it the bangs? It's the bangs.
Oh, I see now. Right.
My female characters have gotten improved. My female characters were so ugly before.
Honest, that is what it is.
Not that they're perfect now.
Mute.
Oh, no problem. I can actually drop you off real quick if you like. Let me just boop. Just let me know when you want to come back on. I'll be pushing it to do traditional inking because of maintenance with the nibs, that I'm too lazy for lazy man tools. I am for lazy man. Let me read this again. I will be pushing it to do traditional inking because of maintenance with the nibs, and I am for lazy man tools. Fair enough. Fair enough. I recommend, even if you don't ever use traditional inking, taking the course, because what you learn in traditional inking is this. You learn line weight, and that is super useful. You took that. You're the one who's you've talked about that that Guptill book, the Arnold Guptill pen and ink book. I also like Alphonse Dunn as well. But this is all this is preaching to the choir. You know about all this stuff, of course. All right, she's leaving. She's walking out the door. I don't want her to look too exploitative. Like, for example, what's going on with this elbow? Oh, Alphonse Dunn's. Yeah, I have that too. I have the workbook. What a great teacher! And you know what are some of the most significant things I learned from Alphonse Dunn is like he has one where he talks about doing I think he calls them dolls. And basically he just covers a page with them. I go to weekend shift next month, so I'll be able to really push the art journey. Then I have 4 days a week off at that point. That's awesome. I think Alphonse worked on a new book as well. He's not been posting on YouTube for over a year now. Yeah, I thought I saw like some isolated stream, but it might have been an old one. But he definitely hasn't been posting regularly. That's for sure. All right, here's this, and this, and then this. All right, I'm gonna do a flood fill here, so I'm just I'm scaring myself. Hang on. Said, oh, he was the one that got me to get into microns. Yeah, and looking at dip pans with flexible nibs. He is a great inker, and there's a lot you can learn from Alphonse Dunn. That's for sure. A lot I've learned from him, for anyways. But like his like these are my two favorite Alphonse Dunn exercises. The texture one where you go from, you know, a black to a white, and it's like maybe it's this one, and you just sort of gradient it out, so it's like this is the darkest one, and then, you know, you get to the very darkest one, so it's where you do this sort of gradient, and you could even, you know, go further and further to make it a smoother and smoother gradient. I really enjoy that one. Yeah, the gradient exercise. And then this one, the even tone one as well. The other one I really like, and this is a lesson from Alphonse Dunn, which is that the texture is the shadow. So it's like, let's say you had chainmail. Like, let's say this, for some reason, this cape was chainmail. You know, it might look like this, but as it gets darker, you just use much more texture to do the shadows. Whoops. I messed up some of my art. Like, I got a lot out of that. I thought that was actually super useful. All right, let's see if we can do the flood fill. We're going to flood fill this thing. There it goes. Boom. So I haven't gotten to textures yet. That's a useful lesson. And you want to get good at brush, I would take JP Buzzio's course. JP Buzzio's traditional inking course is $220. It's going to be Wednesday nights, 6 to 7:30. I know not everybody can afford that, but that's what he teaches is brush. But you'll probably be pleased to know he teaches right out of that Arnold Guptill book, pretty much. Like you do all the exercises. You working on brush right now? Yeah. Excellent. Brush will take a couple years to build confidence in. Yes, it will. Look at my spreadsheet again, and you'll see it's been since 2019 is when I started, but it was late in 2019. It was like August or September, I think. But absolutely. So when you're talking about this journey, it's not something you're going to get over with real soon. It may be a lifelong journey even, but there's nothing wrong with that either. I know guys, old fellas, doing woodworking, doing art, doing painting, painting miniatures, playing instruments, playing guitar, playing banjo. I'm into banjo myself. Who are lifelong, you know? I'm gonna do another one of those masks up here. All right, let's pull the pencils off for a second. Tuco, can you guess how old I am? I might be older than you. And I started in 2019, so a bit older. So I understand where you're coming from if that's the case, but let me show you something. I think we're probably from the same generation. I've showed this picture before. I've shown this picture before, and he said, "Oh, painting miniatures is a whole art in itself. I have seen some nth level stuff in there." Yes, I think I'm an okay miniature painter. I only paint 15 millimeter, and I do, my own kind of stuff. But this is it. Your time is running out, right? So you gotta get as much in as you can, before the Reaper comes. And whoops. We're over here. Time is running out. But it's like now's the time. In a lot of ways, now's the time. It's like the comics aren't good anymore. It's easy to self-publish. Like there's so many signals going on right now. Yeah, I think we grew up in the same generation. I think that's totally true. And we like a lot of the same stuff. We like a lot of the same stuff like D&D. And we remember when comics were sold in grocery stores, things like that. And it's not just a nostalgia trip, although I think that's probably an element of it for me, and I will admit to it, that some of it is nostalgia. But it really was better, in a lot of ways. And when I was in my 40s, I'll just say, I decided I had played guitar, when I was like a teenager and in college and stuff. And I decided I wanted to like maybe be in a band. So I put a little ad up and I'm like, who wants to jam, something like that. And some guy actually said, hey, come on over. And I went over there and I played. And the truth is, I really couldn't keep up with this dude. I didn't sound very good. And like by the time I got home, this guy had unfriended me on Facebook. Like he had like friended me on Facebook when I met him, but it was pretty clear he was like not going to be having a band with me. And I thought, I got to get serious. And that may have sounded like rude or something, like he was really rude, but I don't think he was. I think it was, hey, it's not going to work out. Whoops. Whoops. Hey, come on now. So I knew at that point that if I wanted to do these things, do these artistic things, I would have to get serious. And that's when I got really serious about music for a while. I will tell you, I'm a much better guitarist than I was back then. Although I'm still probably not that great by many standards. Let's do some texture on this thing. Oh, Sideburns is back.
Hooray!
Back. There you go. Sorry about that.
Wrestling my camera once again. That's just how it goes, isn't it? On the flat, it looks much better now, right? Hopefully.
Yeah, absolutely. Is it the camera angle? I have the same rig I think you have, which is this collapsible white plastic thing that I saw you had the same one that I had anyways.
I think I have.
I think I can show it to you.
No, don't worry about it.
This one.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, this one.
I don't use that. I have a DSLR and I have a tripod right now, but I have used it in the past.
This one works really good because it's directly overhead.
But I tried on my mobile, like doing it on my, filming that way on my phone, but the audio would always be terrible. I find that with calling too, just the default method of calling, really audio is bad on iPhones. But yeah, and I switched things up, made it a little harder to do, made some regrettable tripod choices, but
I had some crazy tripod choices. Like I had a little like one of those little GorillaPod tripod things, and I would put it in my shirt so it would be in front of me.
Oh my god!
And then so I would be drawing, but it would be like a body cam or something.
Oh my!
That's hilarious. All right, wait a minute. I'm gonna do some tones. We're gonna throw some tones down here. Hang on.
What's your tone?
Watch your tones. Watch your tones, young man. All right, let's throw some tones. I want this shader, light shader, and I have a special layer just for tones. So I think it's this one. It's this one.
Oh.
All right, Tuco, let me show you the tones. This is beat tones. It's so subtle. You can use it just to do shading, just to shade on the underside. Let me get it a little bit bigger. On the underside of the curtain.
I like that. I can get history. Oh no. Get history of the brush colors I used.
And it's pressure sensitive too, so I don't know if you can even see this. So I could go, if I want to go real dark, let's do, let's say that we're going to make the ceiling part real dark. The tones are light over here, but then to make it dark, we can go all the way down to this darkness.
Mm-hmm.
That's the beat tones. That's what I like about them. And then if you don't want to make them pressure sensitive, there's the other option. Beat Tones Classics. I think there it is right there. Beat Tone Shaders. There it is. So I said, he says, I saw it on for halftones and textures. Yeah, they have some good stuff. I got this for a birthday gift the year before last or last year. So May of last year from my girlfriend. And she gave me like one of those where it was like they had like a multi deal where they bundled 2 or 3 things. It wasn't that expensive when they bundle it. I mean, individually these things are like $20 each, but they'll bundle, 3 or 4 of them for $40. So that's pretty good. Back when I was really into fountain pens, she would always get me some colored ink. But I'm not as much into that into the fountain pens anymore. That's where I got a lot of my colored ink collection from, as gifts.
I'm about to go to the toilet. Be right back.
No problem. All right, let me show you a cool thing there, Tuka, if you're still watching. In situations where there's no light source on the page. Yeah, the comics bundle or create your own bundle. That's exactly what it was. That was what she got me. So we have this room where there's no obvious light source. This is the Tom Mandrake tip that he gave me. He said, just make the light source between the characters. So you can put a shadow on the behind this character, and you put a shadow behind this character. And automatically, we'll understand that the action is going on between these two guys. And she's kind of standing in the background anyway, so that's fine. I do this trick a couple of times. I did it here. But you could say that her spell is the light source in a lot of ways. Other than that, I really like how she came out here. Let's get some shading down here. I'll be happy to get this posted on Instagram and people will see. I'm always worried. I know that nobody really probably cares whether or not I post stuff regularly or not. Like, would they even notice if I missed a week, right? But for me, it's like this accountability thing. And I'm like, I better get this done before a week goes by. And I'm looking at her hair now and I'm thinking, I messed up. Let's fix that. Recent Rusty Nib. It's this one right here. All right, this will come together a lot tighter once I have the speech bubbles in there, but let's go ahead and start this one. I'm on ink and Rusty Nib. Yeah, this one, I was really shocked how quickly that one came together. You can see how kind of rough it ended up when I put it on there. She's walking out the door, and her dialogue is, whoops, let your friend know what we talked about. And they're like, what do we do now? Like, so she's a little bit mysterious in this panel here. But what happened was, when they came through the portal, let me show you the previous Rabbit Fighter. Previous Rabbit Fighter is this one. And I'm not as good back then. It's, this is a year ago, or a little bit over a year ago. That's how I drew it over a year ago. They had this giant robot hand that they found in the desert, and they had to try and they were trying to escape these zombies. And unfortunately, Gallows has been shot. He gets shot right in the back. Gallows has been shot by this time, and he's so tough. He doesn't have any superpowers. Whoops. But he's so tough that he manages to live, and they get out, but they bring this robot hand, which was the only way they could fly. And that's how they ended up in this area. Here it is right here. And it crashes. Oh, no. The robot hand has something bad in it, though. Is Gallows immortal? No, he's totally just a regular dude. He is a regular guy. He's just really tough. Yeah, I actually am not worried about... I'm not worried about the failure. I know it's gonna... People will... Like I said, if I'm only judging my first 1,000 pages as the apprenticeship. Alright, so anyways. That robot hand had a battery called Argentite. And Argentite is a type of silver that's dimensional silver. Here's the hand again, right there. Whoops. And the hand actually has a history from another comic I did. So the idea here is that they've got to get rid of the hand. They've got to take it back off world. And that's what this particular quest is all about, or this part of the comic is. All right, well, anyways. Anyway.
Okie dokie.
Said, is he the Hollywood tough guy who never dies no matter how many bullets hit him? No.
What did I miss?
What's that?
What did I miss? What did I miss?
Oh, you didn't miss anything. I was explaining Gallows. They said he got shot, but he lived. And I was trying to explain. It's actually one of the most brutal scenes that I did. Hang on, where is it?
Gallows. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I remember.
He lived. He lived. Let's see if I can find the comic again. I keep misplacing it. I've got this gigantic collection of things. Here it is.
I don't want to get lens.
Yeah, he's I'll go out fighting. He's almost dead, but he managed to he managed to fight these guys. He falls unconscious on the hand back here. And he pretty much almost dies. He's almost completely unconscious as they're going through the thing there. Going through the portal.
Very emotional moment.
Yeah, and I was actually going to kill him off. I was talked out of it, kind of, by Shell. She's like, I can't believe you would do that. So, I mean, she didn't really she didn't, like, literally talk me out of it, but she was pretty annoyed that I did that for whatever reason. And it just so happens that Isolde has in her background that she is a healer. She was able to heal her friend from death in a previous comic. So, and she has magical healing. So, sticking them together was the right thing to do.
Nice.
And then that's what she's doing right here. She's saying, you're lucky to be alive. He's casting the spell.
She probably rolled a Is it magic bonus if you have healing as a spell? Like
It's
magical.
I think it's a Constitution bonus, but I'm not 100% sure.
Constitution. Like when you heal others, I think it's a spell. Like maybe it's cantrip.
Oh, there's Cure Light Wounds. Yeah, she cast. Maybe she cast Cure Light Wounds or something.
Mm-hmm.
But this is a follow up. She's already healed him. She's bandaged him up and everything. He's got a broken arm, and she's saying, "You lost a lot of blood, but the healing charm is taking nicely." Like so, he's healing up. And he takes his mask off. He's like, "We're not going to need the mask anymore."
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure I like this. This rabbit fighter, though, I don't know. I had the same problem when I was trying to draw him on the next page. And I redid him, and he came out better. So maybe it's the wider eyes that matter.
Mm-hmm.
So what if I unwidened? What if I change this? Something like that. I don't know. I'm going to do... I've noticed that Usagi Yojimbo, the way they handle the ears in there is he usually ties them together in this knot at the top of his head. And I totally want to have a scene where Rabbit Fighter says, "I saw a guy do this in a comic book once," and he puts the samurai knot up on the thing there. Yeah, he was at negative hit points, Tuco. He was at negative.
Mm-hmm.
He may have already been dead. People could survive some amazing stuff, though. I saw some crazy stuff
in
the army. People would survive.
Oh yeah.
You wouldn't think they would be able to survive. All right, hang on.
I was watching Cartoons Kayfabe the other day. They were talking about remembering Toriyama, what have you. They mentioned they thought of there's these lists of famous manga artists who died like 5 years in the timeline, well at least you have the creative Yu-Gi-Oh, creative Berserk, and then there was all these famous creators, and then Toriyama. They're talking about how they're great, there are a few of those great unicorn artists remaining, and from the great era of manga. But I guess if it includes black and white art, when they we also have Peter Laird, and Peter, the creators of TMNT.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they're not manga. I think they all have also have that the similar sort of cultural impact they've had in terms of, because they spawned many copycats for one, with the TMNT, and they create a big franchise out of it. Went to other media, and they were originally they mentioned there are these few that are left, including Otomo and Not so much One Punch Man. I think there's Otomo and Crumb as well. There's like these few living legends that are alive left, and I thought it'd be good to add like the creators Peter Laird and I can't remember the other one.
Kevin Eastman.
Kevin Eastman, yeah.
Yeah.
Have those two. Like, I think those are important as well. Like,
super important. Eastman and Laird are the single greatest indie comics creators that have ever lived. As far as speaking strictly of indie comics, you know, Teenage Mutant. It's had 6 movies, you know, and a cartoon, action figures, toy line, and they're completely indie, like 100% indie.
Yep, they get full creative control.
And then not only that, he turns around and he creates the Xeric Foundation, right? The Xeric Foundation is like this, and started a bunch of people's careers off, including David Cho, right? As was the one that they mentioned.
Wow.
And that's Peter Laird. Eastman buys Heavy Metal magazine, right, and saves that. Eastman also starts up Tundra, and Tundra creates, like without Tundra, we wouldn't have Scott McCloud's Understanding Comics. We wouldn't have, nobody was printing those guys. So it's kind of funny. They were a big hit. And by the way, this is when I had Tom Mandrake as a teacher. He goes, I went to that first comic convention where they were, and everyone was going wild over those guys. And he said, and we were all mad because all the pros looked at their comics and were like, it's not well drawn. I don't understand. It's got a stupid title. It's not well drawn. Why is everybody flocking over there? It's not even in color.
Oh my God.
It's not, they're not pros. But it was magical, and it was the same thing for ElfQuest. Wendy Penny, same deal.
Yep. Yeah, she was rejected from Marvel and DC. I remember.
Yeah.
And then her work gets like re-released in like, I think in one like special edition from Marvel.
In Epic. So Marvel did this thing called Epic Comics, where it was basically where they were doing their sort of it's kind of like their sort of indie imprint, but also is where they would do kind of tryouts for new people, and adultish comics. Like Starlin did a lot of stuff there. Yeah. It says when Scott Adams came out with that book, no one else was doing that back then. Which book are you talking about? Which one?
Scott Adams?
Scott Adams is the Dilbert guy.
Scott McCloud is, I think, what he means.
I think you mean Scott McCloud, yeah. That McCloud book was like, okay, so what happened? Why is that McCloud book important? Because there was never a college course about comics until that book came out. That book came out, and then suddenly you could have a college course about comics that was more serious than the other ones, because people realized, oh, there's a science to this. There's more to it that's going on that we don't understand. More, storytelling wise. All right, what's going on? This is his left shoulder, so it's this shoulder.
Make him brown.
There we go.
I forgot what her
Scott McCloud. Okay, I understand what you're talking about.
Was it purple? I remember.
But that's when it started to become serious, and that was Eastman and Laird. And the funny thing is, when they first became big successes, right, and out of nowhere, so first thing Eastman does is he buys a tank. He can buy anything he wants. He buys a tank.
Like a military tank?
Like a military tank, yeah.
Oh my. And
he was like driving it around in New Hampshire or something. And then But then they said, okay, we're going to go to the next comic convention and we'll sign some people. We're going to give them some money to get them started out, and we'll pick like 2 or 3 people and we'll help them finish their projects or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of it being 2 or 3 people, they came back with like 35 names that they gave money to, and then they eventually set up the Zurich Foundation after that. But it was like a ridiculous amount of people that they helped get started. Whoa.
It's not a vector layer. No, it's not.
And the other thing is, there was a period in the 90s where indie comics were cool. Like, if you've seen Spaced with Simon Pegg and Nick Frost.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen it? It's like, before.
I've seen a bit of it, yeah.
You've seen a bit of it. Okay. His job in there is that he is a indie comics creator, and he has this comic with a bear in it, and it's kind of like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And his job is he works at a comic store. Because there's a Fresco handbook. So that was when indie comics were cool. They were so cool that if you were cool, you did indie comics. And then it wasn't just that show. Roseanne, the entire arc of the characters on Roseanne, when they had the Johnny Galecki character, they started out, they had 2 girls, and then they got 2 boys, and then they kind of put the boys and the girls together. And it's the guy that ended up on Big Bang Theory, Johnny Galecki.
Oh, yeah.
The background for his character is he's an indie comic creator. and that's what made him cool.
Okay, I think I'm making a pixel layer, but not a vector brush, I guess. Vector brush.
I don't know. I don't like vectors.
I see. All right, I made it.
Did you figure it out?
I think I did. Let's see. No. What type of brushes are there? I'm just got home.
Tuco says he knows stuff about this. If you want a vector brush, it will create a layer automatically above the pixel layer. I hate vectors. I guess there's probably a good way to make them look good, and just because I don't like them, that doesn't mean you shouldn't like them. But man, the look of vectors is so annoying to me.
I don't want a vector brush. That's the point. I want to.
Oh, good.
I'm using now. I'm actually like, I'm just discovering that
some people love them though. Like some people have to have the vector.
Yeah, but I'm trying to like make just use a normal pixel brush.
Yeah,
because I want to smudge a bit. Where is it? Vector pencil. I don't want a pencil.
Like there's so many comics that have that vector look, and I just don't like the look of it, I guess.
Fair enough.
That's yeah, it's a personal preference. So I'm not really saying anything, any damning thing. If you're a listener and you think I'm dissing your comic, I'm not your comic, but anyone's comic.
I need to create a Genko, I think it's called, or it's like separations of different layers of different highlights. Also, sorry if I'm coughing a little bit.
No problem.
I think I've got like a seasonal sickness, because it was just it kind of when it started to get less hot. As the day went on, it got more cloudy. I started to notice that. Either that or I've been exposed to something in the mess. I don't know.
Is it cold now in Australia? I mean, what's
with a few days, it's like fall here. Now it's March. And
that's fall. So here it's spring. It's actually quite warm.
Northern Hemisphere, yeah.
Yeah.
I like how this is looking.
I think. It says Chris uses vectors all the time for his stuff. Yeah, he does. For his lettering.
Can I get more than a pencil? Jeez. All right.
Do they have where you can buy brushes for it?
There's
or
loads.
like-
Don't worry, I just found them. I think blotty ink. What's this like? Okay, just like a true grit brush. Fair enough. Okay.
Do they have it where you can buy like the different brushes and stuff? They have like little brush packs and stuff.
Paint inside on. Inside. Okay, that doesn't make sense. Inside of. Okay.
I'm not liking his nose.
Oh, what am I doing? All right. Sorry, this is all new to me. This app.
No problem.
Still have to double tap to undo, so there's some familiarity. Let's see. Classic comic nib. Uh-oh. Does it? Oh my god, does it?
I keep looking at my head and my rabbit fighter's face here. That might be better. What I just did there. Ah!
Right.
I hate when my eraser is set so big and I erase something and it takes out half the drawing.
What does this mean? Does that? Do anything? Fascinating.
Now he looks cross-eyed.
Alrighty then.
Come on! I have not seen Dintu 2 today.
What the hell, man? Classic comic.
Tuco says, let's do the classic comic. Classic comic and Fresco is one of my favorite inking ones I found. So they actually have a comic.
There it is. There it is. Yep. Okay.
What does it look like?
I want kind of a. I actually kind of want to do some like shading layers and whatnot. Shading ink layers. Nope. Okay. But pencil. Let's do with it. Oh, these got like stars next to them. What do they mean? Okay. Yep. There we go.
Star is usually a favorite.
Fresco and iPod. $15 a year. We'll see.
Is it $15 Australian?
Well, yeah, it might be $10 for you. Who knows? Newspaper.
I've been seeing like these ads for a show called Mr. In-Between, Mr. In-Betweener, which is an Australian show.
Huh.
I don't know if you've seen it.
I don't know. Never heard of it. You hear Round the Twist?
What's it called?
Round the Twist?
No, I haven't heard that one.
If
Round the Twist.
If I felt like this, the strange things happen, running around the twist. It's a very fun and really weird show. It's a kids show though.
I know the Wiggles.
Oh god. Well, yeah, everyone knows. They're like very internationally famous.
I actually have a song from the chats doing a cover of "Can You Point Your Fingers and Do the Twist" from the Wiggles. So it's like a punk rock cover of that one.
They've had change of members sometimes. I think the yellow one changes out with a girl. Yeah, Wiggle.
I didn't even know there was a girl Wiggle.
There is one. But they have the original. The other 4 ones are the original members. Ugh.
I'm looking at this head and it just doesn't look right.
I remember we have like Italian, Australian, like second generation, like Australian Italians, and they had this like version that was they had a version where they had the Wiggles, but they told the kids to do disgusting things.
Oh,
In
really?
a dance, yeah. Let's find this famous wog kind of. They're called wogs here. Like, I think that's a strip term, in, like, for part Australia, part like Italian.
Do you call British people pommies?
Pommies, yeah, pommies, yeah.
What is it? Is it short for something or rhyming slang, or I don't know what it stands for?
I think it's just
Pompous.
pompous, yeah. That was right, but yeah.
You damn pommy.
Pommy.
There was an episode of Morse where they go to
Pommy.
Australia. No, it's Inspector Lewis. Inspector Lewis, where they go to Australia and they get involved in solving some crimes in Australia, but they have to help the Australians, and they have some kind of liaison officer that's British, and he's just not making any friends in Australia. They just can't stand him, and they started calling him it's like, so we can take some more orders from the damn pommies.
Pommy,
I thought
mate.
it was very funny.
We
But,
just talk like orcs. Like something.
Yes.
Or just a weird orc, like run off of English, you know.
And at the end of it, like, I think it was Inspector Lewis or one of the other characters was really impressed with like the music. You have like country music kind of in Australia, and also he really liked the van that he got to drive while they were out there. I guess the off-road van SUV thing that he had. So that was a big part of the joke there. It was definitely Inspector Morse. It was not Inspector Lewis. It was Morse.
What did I do on a layer? Damn it. Oh no. Wrong layer, gang. Yay. Wait a second.
I have that problem all the time. I'm always picking the wrong layer.
Nope. No, I think I'm fine.
Did you get it right?
Yep. Something is just... I don't know. Yeah, it's fine. Pommy.
I think I might have made his eyes too big and too close together. All right, we're at the last 5 minutes of the show. Anything?
I know In
Going on?
Excess is Australian. That's a big
Oh yeah,
export.
definitely.
Mm-hmm.
There was such a great like that era. The Australian music scene was awesome. It was like In Excess, Men at Work.
Yeah.
Still like
They're Scottish, though.
Colin Hay.
Actually, my Men at Work, they're Scottish.
Colin Hay is Scottish?
Yeah, they have members in there. That's what I've heard, that they're like a Scottish band. But their song is about... They're about the strong... Like, Down Under is a big hit here. Yeah.
You come to the land down under. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it actually has a little bit of like it's got Laugh Kookaburra Laugh is hidden in the melody.
Oh yeah.
Laugh Kookaburra Laugh. All right.
What the fick? What the fick? Oh, that's probably why. Frisco is fun.
All right. I'm gonna do some speech burbles.
Speech burble.
And then where am I? And that'll be it for today, for tonight. Tuco's making fun of me. He's got the line. I don't think I've ever come so close to dying, Tuco. You can't make fun of me for that. All right, hang on.
Why is he making fun of you?
He's not making fun of me, really. He's saying, because I had the character shot and he doesn't die. It's good-natured ribbing.
I guess I didn't see it.
Which I can handle.
Mm.
All right, white. Oh, come on, man.
Come on, man.
Come on, dog. All right, here we go. Can I pet that dog?
Can I pet that dog?
I love that. That video is one of my favorites.
There was like a version of that, but it was like a black bear on a patio.
Yeah, it was
That dog. No, really, can I pet that dog?
No, you cannot pet the dog.
The forbidden dog. Anyway.
All right, let me fix this one. 758 in excess. Yeah, I remember the year I went to college. The guy down the hall from me had a gigantic, like, I don't know they even made posters this big, but it was like so big it took up the whole wall of In Excess.
He was in excess of an excess, you may say.
It was an excess of an In Excess poster. This guy had in his dorm room in college.
In the mid, but anyway, because I hear them every day at work. I'm like, that's my experience. Okay, all right.
All right, it is 7:59. I'm about to shut this thing down. Hang on, but let me bring back my ink layer. There we go. That feels like a good start for this page.
That looks pretty good, man. Pretty.
That feels good.
Lot going on
for that.
I love it.
Please like, follow, and subscribe. Let me real quick. I'm going to post Buckling Star, the comic series.com.
I posted. I was late yesterday.
But you have a new page up.
Yeah, I'm gonna have like 2 week, like just. I won't post for another 2 weeks. I think I need to build my backlog again. It's very, very behind. I've been well, I've been a bit sick, of course. Not but,
no problem.
Not just that. I'm kind of trying to integrate new healthy, like more hobby, like habits. Like I've been doing weightlifting a little bit.
That's pretty cool.
Like just a simple dumbbell.
I would like to get back into that myself. I have a torn rotator cuff and a like in my shoulder. But I would like to do that. I would like to strengthen up my arm because my right arm, I can. This is like, I wonder what people did back before they used to not do surgery for this kind of stuff. I can barely lift my arm over my head for the most part. It's fine. It doesn't hurt, but I just can't really lift it. I can't really do much with it. All right. Anyways,
sometimes now's a good time to start for me, I guess. Even though, like, I think personally, I'd like to be more able, like, to condition myself because I always drop things and I always feel the like struggle because I've got this gut. I've always had it with me, this gut that's just in the way, and I'll try to be less. I want to be a little less inconvenienced by that, just by doing more lifting and stuff. Like
have you heard
squats.
of Noom?
I've heard of Noom. Yeah,
Noom really works, and there's nothing to it. Yeah,
really.
I've lost 40 pounds on Noom, and my girlfriend's lost more than I have by far.
Oh, wow.
But there's no trick to it other than here's the trick to it. You take a little psychological lesson every day. and it's on your phone.
Uh-huh.
And then you have to. I'll show you what it looks like. I've got it on my phone. This is what
I've had it
the app.
before. It's like I remember when they how they set up a diet for you. I remember like they go into how calorie density is like important factor.
Yeah, so they tell you all these things, and then you just have to like log. Like, so for dinner, I had 2 hamburgers, but just the patties, so hamburger patties, and I had some rye bread. But you put it on there, and they find it in there, and then where am I? View analysis or finish day. Meals logged. Okay, that's all done.
How do I
There
save
you go,
this?
and then it tracks your movement, and you get a Fitbit for that.
Uh-huh.
But it totally works.
Oh yeah, I should probably give it a chance. Let's see. But yeah, thanks for having me on, bro. It's been
Absolutely, glad to have you anytime. And Tuco, when you get started drawing, definitely let me know. Oh, that's wrong. I did this wrong. All right. Talk to you later. Please like, follow, and subscribe, and check into Duckling Star, the comic series.com. See more of Sideburns' manga project. And my pages will be on Instagram. My Instagram account, RabbitFighter13. And what can I tell you about that? Yeah, they're just on Instagram until I get them, until I get them printed, and I continuously, you know.
I know you'll find a way.
I'll find a way. I feel bad. I have to wait for other people to get things done before I may just self-publish it myself because my stuff, I've got a backlog now. I'm gonna have like 64 pages or 80 pages that haven't been published at this point. And
There's vacuuming going on right now. I'm supposed to have a nap. Oh my god. Anyway,
it's very
thanks for having me on, man.
Think of it as a soothing vacuuming. Right.
Yeah. Okay. You have a good one, man.
Sleep.
Cheers.
All right. Thank you so much for tuning
Bye,
in,
chat.
and we
Have a
will
good day.
see you later. I gotta find my enders there.